Hello, it's me, Tiếng Anh, the present, not the past, not the weird, not the super, not the future. It's me from the present, and today is episode 19. Episode 20. Wrong. So today I'm not sick anymore. Yesterday you see the one on the day you have on the video just you saw the one 3000 the one July Captain Trùng Captain 3000 and Super D. But now I'm here. Let's do the episode 20. But I don't know what passage should I read, so I will call Super D. Now we are waiting, so I will open the page. Hey Super D. So what passage have you read? Let me see. I'm sorry. This bit. Okay, let's read. Okay. During the Second World War, it was difficult to travel by plane because the seats were left for important governments and army people. Mr. Brown worked for the government during the war. He was a civilian, and he was doing very secret work. So nobody was allowed to know how important he was, except very few people. One day he had to fly to Edinburgh to give a letter to a few top people there, but an important army officer came to the airport and at the last minute, and Mr. Brown's seat was given to him. So he was not able to fly to the city to give his letter. It was not until he reached the city that the important officer discovered that the man whose seat he had taken was the one whose letter he had flown to the city to hear. Okay, I have read and the passage. Now we will do the homework. We don't have work. Line the episode 18. I'm tired, a little tired. My eyes are tired because I was sleeping at noon. Okay, let's do the homework. We don't have the use. Which of these sentences are true and which are false? F. Writing or F is persist. 1. It was difficult for government and army people to fly seats on plane during the Second World War. No, it is not difficult for government. No, I think the first sentence are phone because I think it wasn't difficult for government and because the Second World War is very important for government and army people because here it said during the Second War it was difficult to travel by plane because the ship was left for important government and army people. So the first question upon F. Two, Mr. Brown was an important person. Here is because a citizen said Mr. Brown worked for the government during the war. Work for the government, so that means Mr. Brown are very important because he worked for the government and the government fights in the War One, War Two. So the second sentence are to degree. He wanted to go to Edible by plane one day. I don't know, but I think the third sentence are true. If you think it is phone, you may answer in the comment. Species C. The pencil boy. He sees was given to somebody else because he was nice. I think it was. I think it was because here a sentence says that but he want to go to an airport to give a letter to a few people there, but an important army officer came to the airport at the last minute, Mr. Brown. So his seat was given to somebody else because his seat isn't given to somebody else because he was dead. No, I say wrong. I think the fourth sentence are true. If you say it's wrong, give me right for me in the comment. 5. The important officer went to Edinburgh to give a letter. Now I think it's wrong because that the passage we just read have said the important officer was an army and he isn't went to Edinburgh to give a letter. The people went to Edinburgh to give a letter is Mr. Brown. For this telephone, if say the important officer arrived in time for Mr. Brown's letter because he went by plane. I don't know, but I think it's true. If you think it's false, give me answer. B. Now we will do. Oh, sorry. I say wrong. Now we will read the second passage. Peter joined the army when he was 18, and for several months he was taught how to be a good soldier. He did quite well in everything except shooting. One day, his friends were practicing their shooting, and all of them were doing quite well except Peter. After he had shot at the target 9 times and he not hit it once, the officer who was trying to teach the young soldiers to go to school said, "You're quite hopeless, Peter. Don't waste your last bullet too. Go behind the wall and shoot yourself with it." Peter felt ashamed. He went behind the wall, and a few seconds later, the officer and the young soldier heard the sound. "Heavens!" the officer said. "Had a silly man really shot himself?" He ran behind the wall, but Peter was all right. "I'm sorry, sir," he said, "but I missed it again." Now we do homework. Which of these sentences are true, and which are false? And write it or add is opposite. 1. Peter was good at everything. No, he isn't. He not good at the shooting, so he wasn't good at everything. He was good at everything, but expect the shooting. So this for 2. Peter wasn't good at shooting. Yes, true. 3. A lot of other soldiers were bad at shooting too. No. 4. One of Peter's 9 bullets hit the target. No. The officer was not pleased with him. I think it's true. The officer talked up Peter had shoot himself. Yeah, it is. The officer had been a fool by shooting. He think Peter had shoot himself because the officer said he shot the last bullet to his head. But okay, I have read the second passage. Now I'm going to give a third passage, and we will end this video. This clip. Mr. Richards worked in a small seaside town, and he and his wife had the comfortable house near the sea. During the winter, they were quite happy there, but every summer a lot of their relatives used to want to come and stay with them because it was a nice place for a holiday, and it was much cheaper than staying in a hotel. Finally, one June, Mr. Richards complained to an intelligent friend of his who lived in the same place. "One of my wife's cousins intends to bring her husband and children and spend 2 days with us next month again. How do you plan when all your relatives coming to live with you in the summer? Oh, the friends answer, that isn't difficult. I just borrow money from all the rich ones and lend it to all the poor ones. After that, none of them come again. Now we will do homework. Which of these sentences are true T and which are false F? Write T or F in the position 1. Mr. and Mrs. Richard didn't have many relatives. No. Mr. and Mrs. Richard did have many relatives. Mr. and Mrs. Richard often went to stay with their relative in summer. No, their relative often went to stay with Mr. and Mrs. Richard in the summer. 4. 3. Mr. Richard's cousin decided to visit them. There is. For Mr. Richard wasn't happy about this. Yes, he is. 5. How to stop visitor? No, a friend of his didn't tell him how to stop visitors. A friend of his told him how to stop relative. 4 and 6. He borrowed money from his poor relative and lent money to his rich ones. This phone because poor relative doesn't have many money and rich one have very much money. So the 6th sentence are false. We have to change the word poor relative will as the position, and rich ones will add rich one will add the middle positions. Next week, he borrowed money from his rich ones and lent money to his poor relative. So this phone. Thank you for watching my video, and in this episode is the end of Indian Smile. Next video clip, I will introduce you another book about English. Thank you for watching my video. Give me a like or comment or subscribe. And my channel name, ITV channel. As you can say the software is ITV.